we go. All right. So let's call to order. David Cheney is
Here.
here. Ted, he's not here. Seamus isn't here. Jim Hale is not here yet. He might be here later, but he's out in the rain.
Oh.
Okay, hold on. Um, all right. Jeff is here. Thank you, Jeff, for showing up. Trish is here. Lynette is here. Tom Cross is here. And Meg Siphon is here. Yay!
Thank
Okay.
you.
All righty. Got that down. Chairperson announcements. Yes, I have a couple of announcements. One is regarding LOCAC. We have elections coming up in late April. Oh no, Jeff can't come in. All right. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Somebody's still trying to get in. See if we can get him in here. Um, hmm, okay. Um, Elections, late April, we have openings, District 1, District 2, District 3, District 4. We actually have 2 openings in District 3. If you know someone who would like to sit on the council, LOCAC Council, we would like to hear from them. We need their bio and their application, and we will be having elections the end of April. We also are looking for committee members. We're looking especially for committee members for the land use committee. We're down to about 3 people in that committee, and that's a really important committee. So if you know anyone who it would be interested in being a public member of the land use committee or any of our committees, please pass on this information. You don't have to be elected if you want to join a committee. You just have to express that interest and you have to sign a little form saying that you will be respectful. And those are the requirements. Um, I have another thing that I want to share with you. That is a petition for can you guys see that?
Mhm.
You can see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a petition to ask the county to analyze the intersection of El Moro and 3rd Street. We have some pedestrian issues there. We see it as a very unsafe intersection. We would like for it to be a 4-way stop. There's not even a crosswalk there, but we all know that, especially during farmers market and on the weekend, so many people are walking along that road, going to Sweet Springs or just, coming into Baywood. And there's really no safe place for people to cross that street because the traffic doesn't stop on El Moro. And El Moro happens to be one of our arterial streets. So we're going to be asking people in the Baywood area to circulate this petition and collect signatures because we've been reporting this to the county and the county has not taken any action. So maybe we need just a few more voices to add to our request and see if we can get them to send a traffic engineer out there to do an analysis and see if we can't get that into a 4-way stop or at a minimum put in a crosswalk there so people know that pedestrians cross in that location. So anybody who would be interested in getting a copy of this petition and circulating it around with your friends and neighbors, just reach out to me. I will send you a copy, a digital copy of this, and you can collect some signatures and get them back to me, and we'll get them turned in. How does that sound?
Good.
Sounds good.
All right, so please let me know. I'm going to take it down to the Baywood Driftwood Art Gallery. They're great about doing petitions and asking people to sign. We might go down to the farmers market and see if we can get signatures there. Obviously, not when it's going to be raining, but yeah, we're going to try to get quite a few signatures for this. Any questions?
How long do you have to do this? I mean, is it open-ended or do you have a deadline
Well,
in
it's
mind?
open-ended for the moment because we'd like to, how many signatures do you think we need? Let's say 30 or 40. When we get 30 or 40 signatures, I think we'll turn them in.
Hmm.
We could maybe get that done in a day if we're at farmers
Yeah.
market,
Okay.
right? But with the weather being like it is, it's probably not going to happen right away. So, and if you have any suggestions on oh, good. Here comes Jeff, because I know he wanted to see this. So, any suggestions on how we can get more signatures? I'd be very open to hear that. Let me see. Hi, oh, hi, Seamus. So this petition, we're asking if people are interested to collect signatures for a safe crosswalk at 4th and El Moro. I mean, 3rd and El Moro. And if you want a copy of this petition because you think you can get some signatures for that, just let me know. And then we'll get all these signatures over to the county and see if we can get some momentum going because we've been reporting it, as I said before. Okay, I'm going to stop share. That's my announcement there. I sent you the local roads tax. Sorry, that link was a whole paragraph, but I didn't have a short version. I'm not going to talk about local tax because you've probably already heard some of the meetings that they've had about the local tax, but this will take you to the final draft that passed the Board of Supervisors and the SLOCOG board.
Yeah.
The next thing that will
So,
happen,
so
did you have
Deborah, that
questions?
link didn't work for me. Did it work for others? It
I
required
don't
like
know.
a Microsoft SharePoint privileges at the county at the SLOCOG or something for to do
You
it.
know what? Go to the SLOCOG website, and on the home page, it has local roads first, and you can click on
Okay.
that, and you'll get to the information. What happens now, because they've basically set the framework for the tax, it's going to go to each one of the cities and it'll pass each one of the cities, city councils. And then on March 24th, it will come back to the Board of Supervisors for another final approval through the Board of Supervisors. And then on April 1st, it will go back to the SLOCOG board for their final approval. And if it passes all of those, it will then be put on the ballot in November. So there's still a few hoops for them to jump through to get this actually on the ballot in November. There is a rumor that there is a citizens initiative. They are essentially taking the tax initiative and adopting it, but as a citizens initiative. The reason that's happening is because a citizens initiative only requires 50% plus one to pass, where this one that's coming through SLOCOG needs a 2/3. And they are very concerned that it's not going to pass because 2/3, it's not that easy. So we'll see. I don't know who's doing it. I haven't been contacted, so I don't know what their plan is. But I just I just know that there's some talk about there's a group and they're going to try to put it together. I'm assuming they're just taking the existing um, legislative bill or initiative, if you will, and just copying it and then putting it forward. In order to do that, as we know, living in Los Osos, you have to collect a bunch of signatures. You I think for this initiative, you'd have to collect about 15,000 signatures in order to qualify to get on the ballot. So if they're going to do that, they better hurry up. So that's that. Any questions? Okay. Oh, do we have any public comments for items not on the agenda? Because I did skip that. Okay, I don't see any, so I'm going to move on. All righty. You are going to be my practice session for the PowerPoint presentation I'm going to be doing tomorrow night at the Bicycle Advisory Committee. And so let me get my notes here, and I'm going to pull that up. And you guys will hopefully give me some really good feedback on this presentation. All right, can you see that? Is it showing up?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, good. All right. All right. So, good evening. My name's Deborah Howe. I'm the chair of the Los Osos Community Advisory Council Transportation Committee. Purpose of our committee is to discuss issues for active transportation, identify projects, and to get feedback for our priorities, safety, and funding. Our Los Osos Community Plan provides for the creation of pedestrian and bicycle pathways that link residential areas, schools, and commercial areas. And our plan also describes the creation of an active transportation plan in coordination with the Planning and Public Works departments of the county. I was here in 2022 in front of your committee where I presented what we called the core loop concept. This was a concept that was developed to connect the two main commercial areas of Los Osos. Los Osos Valley Road has a major commercial area, and then Baywood has another commercial area. And so we thought, how can we connect these two areas with also other residential areas? And this is the core loop concept that was presented to you at that time. If you look at this red line here on the right, that's street, which is a bicycle boulevard. And so we chose that as one part of our core loop. And then coming across from east to west is Los Osos Valley Road, where there is to be a multi-purpose separated bike pedestrian path. And then going back towards Baywood is a trail that would be created through some private property. We have talked to that owner of that property and received permission for us to think about putting a trail through there. And then coming back to the east is Pismo Street, which is not a it's not a paved street at this point. So it's a dirt road essentially. So we thought that was a pretty cool idea. And what we liked about it is that it made a lot of connections within our community. That idea was pretty well received back in 2022 when I talked to you back then. And since then, we've expanded this concept using our Los Osos Community Plan as our guide, which is to provide interconnected systems of sidewalks, trails, and other pedestrian routes, and also taking note that the county should refer all quiet title actions to those groups. That would be Los Osos Community Service District and the Los Osos Community Advisory Council, that's us, for review and comment. So these are two things that are very important in order for us to proceed with developing these pedestrian and cycling connections. Unfortunately, that didn't happen here. Pismo, one of our key link parts of our core loop, was vacated at 10th Street. And I'll just share with you a little bit about what happened. The property owner on the left went to the county and said, I'd like to I would like you to vacate your easement. And the county said, okay. And they built a fence, and he was going to actually build a little ADU for a family member. And it turned out that the CSD, the Los Osos CSD, has a water pipe that goes through there. And they didn't check with the CSD about that. And so when the CSD found out, they went to the property owner and said, excuse me, but we have to be able to have access to that pipeline. And therefore, the property owner decided to put in a trailer instead of actually building a little ADU there. Um, Fortunately, the property owner on the right has encroached on, and it's been encroached on for a long time, which is actually pretty common in Los Osos, has encroached into the easement, but not completely closed it off. However, they would certainly be well within their right at this point, since this whole section it has been vacated. They could close off this trail access, which would be very unfortunate because it's heavily used. So we want to avoid this happening in the future. And so what we did is we took a look at our Los Osos dirt roads. This is an old chamber map, but if you look at where it's yellow, those indicate where the roads are dirt and not paved. So we said, okay, let's use this map as a way to inform us where our future potential trails might be. And we came up with this version. This is actually from the Los Osos Community Plan. It is the Parks and Recreation Trail map that's included in our community plan. And we added some green lines there that indicate where we would like to see future trails. And I hope it's clear to you. It's not the best map, but it gives you an idea of what we were trying to accomplish. So I'm going to ask you to take a moment now to take a little walk through Los Osos with me as we explore some of these potential trails. And we're going to start out on Pismo, which is the one we just looked at. And Pismo is right here in the middle. It goes east and west, and it is a very heavily used road. We'll take a look at that, and then we're going to go over here to Doris, which connects the Cuesta Inlet, which, if you don't know, Cuesta Inlet was recently purchased by a nonprofit group called Save Cuesta Inlet in order to preserve public access. That has been acquired and will stay open for public access. And Doris goes all the way from the bay, all the way to Monarch Grove Elementary School. So a very important pathway for us. And then we'll also take a look at a road called Broderson, which goes all the way from Sweet Springs, Audubon Society, Bird Sanctuary to Los Osos Valley Road and beyond. It actually goes up into and touches onto the ecological reserve, the Morro Dunes Ecological Reserve. So let's take a look, see what these look like. This is Pismo. This is not uncommon. You'll have people who live near these trails will put out, this happens to be a little mushroom table with little mushroom seats and a swing that a neighbor put out. You can think of it as a little pocket park, but you can see the trail here and how it sort of meanders through. This is all Pismo Street up until you get to 10th Street where we have that little hiccup. Here's Doris. Doris is, you can see, you could drive your car here, and obviously some people do, but it's mainly used for pedestrians and cyclists. And here, the picture on the right-hand side, you'll see the gate there. On the other side of that gate is Monarch Grove Elementary School. And one day I was visiting the school when school was let out, and I saw a mother with a little pony walking to the school, and I go, "Where are you going?" She goes, "Oh, I'm picking up my daughter at school." And so here she is, um, on her pony with her little elementary school friends. And this is Los Osos, right? This is some of what we like to think of in Los Osos as the thing that we like to keep as part of our character. Um, so I had to put this picture in. This is the Broderson Trail, Broderson to Los Osos Valley Road. There's a lot going on here. On the right-hand side, one of the neighbors put in a little kiosk for doggy bags so people could clean up after their dog. There are little rail fences. Here, somebody put in some logs to prevent total erosion where it kind of goes down the hill. And you can see here on the right-hand side where you have bikes using this trail. So that's just a little walk around Los Osos where we would like to see some future trails, potential future trails to be developed. We have an existing pathway that is heavily used in Los Osos, and that's the El Morro Bikeway path. And I thought it would be helpful to learn a little bit about this path. It's a half-mile trail. It extends from Baywood Elementary School to Los Osos Middle School. The idea for this pathway began back in 1996, and it was completed in 2006. The funding came from SLOCOG using state and federal grants, and it was administered through a collaboration of county parks and public works. We have another really fabulous trail called the Elfin Forest Boardwalk. It's a 1 mile loop through a 90-acre elfin forest protected area overlooking the Estuary Bay. It connects 16th Street to 11th Street with scenic overlooks. This boardwalk was dedicated in 1999, but the effort actually began in 1990. The funding came from state and federal grants, with the community raising matching funds of $100,000 through bake sales and donations. So my point is, these projects take time. They take a lot of effort and they take funding, but we need to look ahead and see where we want these trails to go and the potential trails and protect them by making sure that they're not given away by quiet title easements. So this is my final slide, the overlook from Elfin Forest overlooking the Estuary Bay. And I just want to thank you for supporting our effort to create safe pathways in Los Osos. And we ask for your support in protecting them. And we would ask, how can we work with your group to make sure that these roads are not given away? Okay, that's my presentation. It could use a little practice, but what do you think? Do I need to add something in? Do I need more information? Does it seem out of sequence? What's your feedback?
So I guess oh, sorry, Thomas's hand up.
Go ahead, Thomas.
I really like the presentation. I love the pictures you showed to show where you envision the paths going through, and also the bit of the flavor and spirit of Los Osos. I really liked the graph with the map and the lines showing spreading out from the core loop. I think that was the most interesting and visually engaging part of it, to me at least. Emphasizing how that again connects the two shopping districts as well as like the many cultural districts around the city, I think would be very, very useful.
Okay.
Because I just love the core loop concept, and I think it will be a huge, massive artery for the town.
Okay. Lynette? Oh, you're muted.
I would just say change it to Estero Bay. Estuary, it is an estuary, but it's called Estero Bay. So I would change that. Otherwise, I thought it was fascinating. I want to take the tour again. It was fun.
Well, I could use more practice, so. Okay, Estero Bay Estuary. Good
Um,
comment. Thank you. And thank you, Tom, for your comments as well. David,
Yeah, so I guess this is a presentation to the Slow Bicycle Group.
it's for the Bicycle Advisory
Bi
Committee, which is a
okay,
county committee. It's an advisory committee.
okay, and the you're basically just want to inform them about Los Osos' plans, and you're sort of asking them for support. Is that
So the
right?
Bicycle Advisory Committee has been tasked with transforming itself into an active transportation committee. But they haven't given them any funding in order to do that. So while they're still called the Bicycle Advisory Committee, they really have an expanded role. And so I'm going to them and I plan to go to the Parks and Rec commissioners and do a very similar presentation and ask them to support our effort in protecting these pathways so that if we ever get funding, if we ever really get some momentum going on creating these trails, we're not going to run into roadblocks like we would on Pismo.
Okay. So the main message from now is just to basically keep these pathways open. We're not saying, we're not putting forward a plan saying, here are the trails we want to build and we and deciding which ones are paved and which ones are unpaved and that sort of thing right now. Is that right? It's just saying the point you're just making is preserve things and do no harm now, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. And the reason that I'm doing it in this way, David, is because I've gone to Public Works and I've asked them to be sure to come to us and let us know in advance
Yeah.
if somebody's asked for this, and they basically blew me off.
Okay.
So I'm trying a different way. My approach is to get support from the Bicycle Advisory Committee and to get support from the Parks Commissioners. And hopefully that will convince Public Works and Planning to not forget to bring these matters to LOCAC. And obviously, it's a huge issue for the Los Osos CSD. I mean, they were not consulted in any way, and that guy built his fence right over the top of the water line. So, you know, they they just forget, I think. It's not a priority for them necessarily to come and ask permission. Oh, are you okay with this? But they really should.
Yeah.
So it's just my way of sort of, emphasizing it. If you think of a
Okay.
better way, I'm certainly open to hearing about it.
Yeah, no, I guess my only point is maybe just make sure your main point is both clear at the beginning and clear at the end, because
Okay.
I think at some points in the presentation I wasn't sure whether you're kind of trying to present an overall plan for this stuff, or whether whereas your actual sort of action item is a little bit more focused,
Okay.
if that's fair. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll work on that. Maybe I'll work on that with you tomorrow, David, if you're got some time.
Okay. Yeah.
I can add some,
Yeah.
maybe another slide or something more informative, something more clear. I
Yeah.
certainly get where you're going.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead. Jeff.
I had the same almost identical comment that David did. Is I thought the as far as being interesting and bringing me in, yeah, you had me. I love the presentation from that standpoint. I didn't get what the ask was, so I think my suggestion would be to work on the ask at the beginning, the middle, and the end. Three. You always say you got to tell them three times. Tell them again, and then tell them a third time. So I really would hammer them with if there's an ask there, and I think there is, we need your help. Then I think that needs to be. Don't be afraid to put that front and center.
Okay. Excellent. Anybody else? Okay. Wow, that's great. because I've been playing with this presentation and moving it around, and I think it did get lost, like the whole point that I'm trying to make, um, by getting sort of caught up in the visuals and not really explaining why I'm there, my purpose for being there.
And I think the
Um,
pictures are great. You can really kind of imagine, hey, this would be a really cool trail if this was you know
it,
built out
it
and
is really
developed.
cool. It's super
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Was super fun to do this. All right, and I'll practice. I'll be better. I mean, it's tomorrow. I got to get better. Okay, so I'll work on that. Okay, moving on. Something really exciting. We have a SlowCog pop-up mini grant program. So what this is, it's a up to $6,000 are available, and you can do like these mini demonstration so let's use our El Morro and Third Street intersection as an example. So if we got the mini grant, we could go in with these sort of pylons like you see in the picture that I sent you. We would go in with pylons that would delineate the crosswalk. They would even maybe put tape on the road and maybe some flower boxes, and it would be up for a week, and it would sort of say, oh, hey, pay attention. This is, a crosswalk, or this is no, it could be anything. It could be a bulb out at a corner. Like, let's say we're at Baywood and we're at the corner of Santa Maria and Second Street. And that Second Street is so wide, it's very hard to cross that street. So maybe we have a bulb out on both sides of Second Street, which allows pedestrians to get a little closer together so they wouldn't have to cross such a wide street. So we could do that again with some planters or some pylons to create a little safe place for people to wait so they could cross the street. I mean, the ideas are, there are lots of ideas that we can put forth. There is a webinar for how to apply for the grant and what they would be looking for. It's February 26th. It's at 12:30. You can sign up for this webinar at the SlowCog website. You just register for it and you can, you know, click on the webinar and learn a little bit more about it. Obviously, I'm going to be there because I want to get a mini grant, most likely to do something down in Baywood. I think that would have the biggest impact. Um, I wish it was more than a $6,000 because I could think of some really cool things to do down there, but we'll start where we can start. Any questions about that? David?
Could you use the mini grant for demoing one of these paths that illustrate where one of the paths would go on one of these streets? Yeah. I mean, for
I
six
don't,
thousand dollars with a bunch of volunteers, you could actually create the path. That would be the
yeah, well, you're probably right about that, but this is a safety.
say
This is
right.
this is a pop-up safety demonstration. So we need to find an area where we need to increase safety, and those
Okay.
trails are pretty safe
Okay.
right now, unless you run into the poison ivy, then not so much. Any other questions about the mini grant?
Was Jeff talking? Looked like he was muted. Or
I don't know.
okay.
Is anybody? I don't see anybody with their
Okay.
hand up. Here comes Jim. He's just coming in, but the meeting's over now.
Oh, it's over?
Well, we're done. We're pretty much done.
Okay,
So,
sorry.
please join me at the webinar if you're free during that time, February 26th at 12:30. Go to the SlowCog website if you want to know more about the local roads initiative, what the actual final draft is. Again, it's on the SlowCog website. I will work on this PowerPoint presentation and get it stronger for my presentation tomorrow at the Bicycle Advisory Committee. Any and all of you are welcome to come with me. It's at 6 o'clock at the county library. They have a number of things on the agenda, so should be a good meeting. And that's all I have.
Do you know if they allow virtual attendance?
I don't know if they do. I'll find out, Tom. I'll let you know. They might. I think they maybe have the capability, but I'm not sure. I don't remember ever seeing anybody zooming in necessarily. I think everybody's there in person. I'll find out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? Anything you want to add to the agenda for future? All right. Little by little, making progress. But I thought it was interesting, just one final little note, when I was researching both the El Morro bike path and the Elfin Forest boardwalk, how many years it took for those projects to get completed and the amount of effort that went into getting the funding. So I thought that was a good reality check for me. And it made me feel even more dedicated to making sure that we have a vision of what we want and we protect what that vision is with, making sure they don't give away these certain parts of our town that could be really fantastic trails. And if we can get Parks and Rec to, include that in their Parks and Rec plan. The county Parks and Rec is going through a master plan redo. I happen to be on that committee. I'm be meeting with them in a couple of weeks to review what they've come up with. And one of their buzzwords is connectivity. And that's what this is about, right? And we have great places to connect to. Connect from Monarch Grove to Cuesta Inlet. Connect from Sweet Springs to, Los Osos Valley Road and the community center. Connect to Elfin Forest. So we have really great places to visit, and we don't necessarily have to get in our car to get there. That's the idea. All right. Thank you guys for coming. I
Okay.
apologize for what was going on there with technical. Something's wrong with that link on the website, so I need to get that fixed, and we'll get that figured out. All right.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Deborah.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Deborah.
Bye-bye. Stay dry.